Every morning when the sun comes up, my productivity is now beginning as a farmer. Because of course the most basic landscape function is plants packaging the sun's energy in the photosynthetic reaction. So the whole process of farming means how can I recycle that productivity to the highest quality produce at the least amount of effort and cost. And really the amazing part of this landscape was that it's all automatic. Well, when I came to Bylong, of course, it was very degraded and it was considered to be horse sick and disease-ridden. And so I thought I'll test this to see how the landscape works. And I read 23 yearlings there. One was the top 2-year-old filly Black Shoes. Another one was Lea Star, who set the fastest time in Australia. She was the fastest horse. And then there was Moon Chase, who was voted the toughest and soundest horse and won the Grand National. And then the last one, which was one of the top colts in South Australia, Colour Bright. I thought that given this sort of evidence, a lot of people would look at the very best ways that those things could be achieved, and it would all happen. Well, after nearly 45 years of total frustration, I thought, well, maybe if I just live long enough, I can set another demonstration up so the world will get the opportunity this amazing old landscape has offered. We had such a dry time for a few years. Then it rained, and I have to say I've been amazed what happened and how everybody could do it. If you look at a landscape anywhere through when it was functioning effectively, it goes from forestry to agriculture. The reason being, the forest can accumulate 24/7 out of the atmosphere, and then it drops 7% of its mass every year, and that then feeds the landscape below it. And if you understand that you get a wetland which traps what would have been lost residue, it attracts insects, it attracts birds, so it creates a migrating system back to the high point. And that's a pattern that once you see it, it's amazing. It's just the most brilliant thing, how automatic it is. And I wish to hell I could say I invented it. The biggest single issue with this is Australia's landscape was made by plants because there weren't animals that caused them to be disrupted. And I liked Steiner because he said, plants are the most accurate specialists. Their mere presence, particularly the weed plants, tells you of a condition. That's my biggest guide. If I go into a landscape with no plants, it's really very difficult to make a decision. And after the water falls and things happen, well, you can. But understanding this landscape, it's quite difficult for some people who haven't had exposure to it to read the patterns, but they're there. And if we had a professional group, everybody could be advised how to use it. Our biggest problem is definitely the human race, and people get sillier every year because of that advertising. But it's quite honest to say you are just a beautiful ray of sunlight. I mean, we get the plants pulling in sunlight and CO2, and they make us everything that we are, which amazes me. It has been reported to me that the information Australia contains would definitely lead the world to recover the climate. So anyone who's prepared to look at it and manage it correctly will be recognised as a world leader. But there is a simple story. If you want to grow a plant and be advised how the Australian landscape worked, you will certainly be a contributor to saving the climate.